I'm the BTC Reaper. My goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading, whether the price is going up or down. Over on Dixie for the daily, we do have a bearish continuation, so this is positive. VWAP is pulling back, momentum's dropping, money flow is breaking down. If this continues, we likely will see crypto continue forward because of that inverse relationship. So watch for continued lower lows with this lower high. Since they don't connect, that's where you get that bearish continuation. Over on Bitcoin dominance, we are seeing a breakaway here. Again, this is positive. This is what we need for Bitcoin to kind of lag behind our altcoins and give us that altcoin season. As you can see from today, Bitcoin still went up, but total went up about twice as much. So that's why total dominance is pulling back, but Bitcoin still has the ability to go up even if dominance pulls back. So keep that in mind as well. That was asked in our Discord last night. Speaking of which, here's those links for mastering the trade, and there's that Discord link. That way you can join us. It's all for free. Our stochastic is pushing down, RSI is starting to weaken, VWAP is favoring bearish, and money flow is pulling back. If that VWAP continues to drop away here, we will see dominance continue toward that value area high, and again, that would be more positive for our altcoins. Over on total, we did try to break that resistance and we were unsuccessful, so I would watch the next candle. We need some strong green candles. Ideally, we would have broke and held that today. Stochastic is pushing up, RSI is gaining strength, VWAP is running up, pushing momentum further, and money flow does want to push into the green. So if that VWAP can maintain a bullish trend on lower time frames, then we will continue forward. So here on the 1 hour, we did just reject that resistance area. Now watch for continued higher highs with higher lows. If we get continued higher highs with higher lows, we would still have the possibility to break through that. But I'd say if we break around this 910 area and we do not make it bounce off that 910 area, then I would exercise a little more caution as where the bears may try to bring us lower. That VWAP does have a lower high with a lower low, so we do have a bearish trend. That bearish trend can end up bringing us down. Momentum is pushing away, stochastic is dropping away, RSI is weakening, so overall I would keep an eye on that VWAP with it favoring bearish. That could start to weaken those higher time frames if it does not reverse in the next few hours. Over on Bitcoin futures for the daily, we have our kind of descending channel we do want to break away from. So remember, descending channels do want to push you up. RSI is pretty flat, stochastic wants to push up. VWAP is trying to break that neutral, pushing momentum higher with a green dot, and money flow does want to make a bounce if that VWAP can maintain. Over on the 1 hour, you can see we kind of attempted to get our breakout, so that fourth touch to the top was where we attempted to break out, and we are pulling back. So we will call this pattern invalidated because we are not getting the technical break up. We will want a continuation after retesting the top and then a bounce. This candle here is giving us a breakdown. Now that's not to say we can't push forward, because if we see higher highs with higher lows, which we're trying to make a higher low, then we do still have that environment to create a bullish continuation and push ourselves forward. Momentum is starting to pull back. VWAP is starting to push down. So keep an eye on that VWAP. If it creates a bearish trend, we could break away. But remember, just because it dips bearish doesn't mean we have to break down. Back here, it did dip a little bearish. We did pull back a little bit, but then we got pumped forward. Momentum is starting to weaken, so I would watch the VWAP just for that fact. If that VWAP continues to drop and bring momentum down, money flow will continue to pull back. Over the weekend, remember, we won't have futures, so we'll just have to lean on Bitcoin. We do have a long upper shadow candle here on the daily for Bitcoin. Again, that's not a positive candle because that shows the bulls tried to push us up and the bears are trying to gain control and push us down. It could be a hammer candle, a green hammer candle, if followed by a strong green candle. But if this is followed by a strong red candle, I would expect an attempt to break support and a possible push down. So again, watch that 70K range, that gapped area from our futures, because if we break that 93K and reject this bull flag, that's probably where we could end up, around that 80K, and then we'd hang up around 90K, these big volume gaps where you see these big green candles. Remember, when you shoot up very quick, you do end up coming back and crashing down. So keep that in mind. This could be a decent DCA opportunity. Doesn't mean the bull market has to be over. I wouldn't be too worried about that unless we start breaking below that 70K gap. We do have a 50K gap, but I don't think that's going to fill now. I think that could be more of a future bear market gap that could fill. Remember, they only have an 80%, do have an 80% chance, good odds, but they do have that 20% chance where they cannot play out. So it doesn't have to play out just because it's there, just like that 15, 20K gap we have from the bear market as well. Our stochastic is pushing up, RSI is pushing forward, VWAP is in a bullish trend, momentum is pushing up, and money flow does want to break forward. So we do look positive on the daily, but over on this 1 hour, I would watch for a bullish continuation form. We do have higher highs with higher lows that do not connect right now. So if that can continue, we would create a bullish continuation, which would help run us up. Again, watch this VWAP. If it stays in the bearish territory for a long period of time, like back here, that's where we could crash out. But it dipping in the bearish territory isn't necessarily the end of the world, providing it's just visiting. Momentum is pushing down, and that money flow does want to break. So again, watch that VWAP because it is starting to kind of elongate, and it does look like it is starting to hang out. So I would watch against that. Over on graph for the daily, we did try to break our resistance. However, we were unable to do so. So again, this is a possible long upper shadow candle. If followed by a strong red candle, we would continue lower, invalidating our pattern breakout most likely. But if it does follow with a strong green candle, then we have that potential to push up to our 16,316, right around that point control, our blue line here from our fixed range volume profile. Stochastic does want to push up. RSI is trying to gain strength. VWAP is kind of flat, is slightly pulling back, so just keep an eye on it. Momentum is rounding, and money flow is in the red, but trying to reverse. Over on the 1 hour, we did try to bounce off the support, and we are just shooting right through it. So I would watch again if we get lower lows. Say we break this 13,940, that's where I would watch for that retest of our pattern. And if we break back into our pattern, that's where I would watch for further bearish momentum. Stochastic is pushing down, VWAP is favoring bearish, momentum is dropping away as a result, and money flow is in the red. So if that VWAP does not reverse soon, we will see momentum continue lower, which will weaken that money flow, and if money flow stays in the red, higher time frames will weaken. Over on Anchor for the daily, we do have a bit of consolidation going on. Not much going on here. Stochastic's pretty flat. RSI is flat. VWAP is starting to go flat. Momentum does want to push forward, but it's starting to stagnate. So just watch for it to round away. And money flow is in the red. Over on the 1 hour, we are attempting to hold our support level, so this is very positive, providing we can make a bounce here. If we can make a bounce here, then we have that chance to push up to the 2673. Momentum is starting to round, stochastic and RSI are dropping. VWAP is favoring bearish, and money flow is heavy in the red, so I would watch that VWAP. If that VWAP continues to push down here, momentum will continue lower, money flow will remain in the red, and higher time frames will have the environment to start getting strong red candles again. Over on XRP for the daily, we do have XRP ETF news, so that's kind of why XRP is pumping on its own. I'm surprised Ondo's not pumping on its own because there is government talk of using Ondo possibly as well. So anyone that's holding that, a couple people, I know that would be positive for all of us. Stochastic does want to push up. VWAP is gaining strength, momentum is pushing forward, and that money flow does want to push. So I would watch if that VWAP can hold in the green on lower time frames. Over on the 1 hour, we did get a pretty decent tear up, so we will delete this pattern. We did not come back to retest it, so I would warn against a retest of pulling back. Remember, when you shoot straight up, you do end up crashing back down. Momentum is starting to weaken. We have bearish divergence. That bearish divergence is where momentum pushes down, price goes up. You have that bit of a mouth that spills out and spits you down. VWAP is favoring bearish with a lower low and a lower high, so we do have a bearish trend there, which is weakening that momentum. If this does not reverse, money flow will start to weaken, and we could break away. This could be a double top as well, where you have a rise, a drop, a rise, and then we could continue for a drop, which would retest that Fibonacci right around that 237, 240 range. Finally, last but not least, unless we have special requests, we have Algo for the daily. Stochastic does want to push up. RSI is trying to push forward. VWAP is bullish. Momentum's pushing up. And money flow is in the red. So overall, I would watch. Again, we have that long upper shadow candle possibility, which could also be a hammer. depending on if we're followed by a strong green or a strong red candle. If it's strong red candle, we're likely pushing lower. If it's a strong green candle, we can continue forward. Over on the 1 hour, we do have rising bottoms with pretty flat tops, so this could be a rising triangle. A rising triangle would, like its name suggests, push us up, so that would be positive. We can draw that out real quick, not going to bother connecting that line for us, it doesn't really matter. So push that forward, that would be a breakout to around that 3327. That would be providing that VWAP can turn course, though, because that VWAP does have a lower high with a lower low, and if that does not reverse, momentum will continue lower, money flow will stay in the red, and higher time frames would have that environment for strong red candles, which would mean we could come back down, test that 2848 where our support and our value area high are, and then possibly continue lower if we're unable to get bounced there. Thank you for watching tonight's video. I hope you have a great night. Hit the like and subscribe, and join us in that Discord.